How did Catherine, the Princess of Wales, beat Meghan at her own narcissistic game without being a narcissist? Take a bow, Meghan. Take a bow. You were defeated with class, elegance, by a true princess. You know, Catherine shows that you don't have to be born royal to be royal. Let me know. Let's get into this video. Hello, beautiful people. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And we're going to go through a few things here about, I'm sure you've heard before, but I thought I'd put them in a little bit of a different format and give a little bit of a different take on it. I do believe that Meghan Markle was planning on coming. I have a friend of mine who was telling me that Meghan Markle, actually, it was a very last minute decision not to come, because apparently she did not get the role that she wanted, which I've been saying all along. I am glad that now Neil Sean is reporting that Meghan Markle had been shopping for dresses, for gowns up to 2 weeks, 10 days ago. Because it is true, she was planning on coming to the coronation, which is just the ins and out of her being the star attraction of the show, because she sees the coronation not as a historic event, but she sees it as a show, and she wants to know if she's going to be if she's going to get the starring role, or whether she is going to be a supporting minor role. And we know that Meghan by now thinks of herself as the biggest thing on earth. This is why, you know how a lot of people have asked me, why isn't she taking roles like in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I am very guilty of watching. Yes, I am. And you know, by the way, I can't stand Dorit. Ugh. Why does she have that accent? Daddy, it is so annoying. She really annoys the hell out of me. You know, yes, she does actually. And so, but anyways, I digress. But the reason why Meghan Markle would never do such a thing is because now she feels herself. This would be like Julia Roberts doing Suits. That's how she sees herself, okay? That those things are beneath her. And her own arrogance it has been her own undoing. And how did Catherine manage to beat her at her own game, at the narcissistic game, without being one? That's really what we're gonna look into it a little bit here. Yeah, let's do that. Before we get into this, because I know there's many channels that are going on about it, and they give very complicated, big things. You can pause and read this, but I'm just going to give you the gist of it. I know that HG Tutor covers this. I know that many do, and that's great. But I thought I'd give you this for the ones that come to my channel that maybe don't go to the other channels. So we're going to go a little bit over why we think Meghan is a narcissistic personality, has narcissistic personality disorder. It doesn't mean that she's insane or is not aware of what she's doing. It only means that she is a skank. Now, I'm drinking coffee, by the way. It says here that narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition marked by a grand level of self-importance and intense need for excessive admiration and attention from others, and a general lack of empathy for others. People with NPD display extreme confidence while also being unable to gracefully accept even small complaints. That pretty much sounds like Meghan Markle, don't you think? What is gaslighting? You know, a lot of people have asked me, what is gaslighting? Please be aware that I'm not a psychologist. I did take psychology courses in university, but I'm not a psychologist nor a psychiatrist, but I do know how to read. And I experienced it firsthand with my ex-husband and some of his friends. So gaslighting is the use of a pattern, repetitive set of manipulation tactics that makes someone question reality. I have experienced that, and it's horrible. It's often used by people with narcissistic personality disorder, abusive individuals, cult leaders, criminals, and dictators. It's important to point out that gaslighting is a pattern behavior. It's intentional and designed to make you question your memories and experiences. Toxic people who gaslight, instill confusion intended to make others rely on them, convincing someone to question their reality, gives a gaslighter a sense of power and superiority. Pretty much that's Meghan Markle, that keeps telling us that no, it's not her, it's us, that we are the racist, that this is what's happening, that she made other people, that she was the one that was cried, not Kate, that she's not the bully, the others are the bullies. It's actually pretty scary to think about. I know that you've read in many or heard from many other YouTubers as well that gaslighters are not aware, or narcissists are not aware that they gaslight or that they are narcissist and abusive. I did talk to my friend who is a psychiatrist. She works for the FBI with serial killers. And she told me that the only way that a person is not aware of their actions is they are completely insane and they do not know the difference between right and wrong. We do know when we're doing something wrong. I don't understand why some YouTubers are saying, well, she's not aware of what she's doing. We know that gaslighting is intentional. It's a plan. It's manufacturing. It's laying a course for what they want to do and enjoying its outcome, enjoying what it does to other people. So if this is something that it's planned and intentional, they are fully aware of what they're doing, which is what Meghan Markle does. She sets a course, and then, when she does something, no, it's not me who's doing it, it's you. It's not me who's the bully, it's you. It's not me who's the abusive person, it's you. I am the one who's been abused. It's not Catherine who cried, it's me who cried. It's not me who bullied Charlotte, I was bullied. There's no accountability, and the reason why they use gaslighting is to hide their lies and to blame others. And that way they can basically get away with what they want to do. Now, these are the common traits of gaslighters. They refuse to consider your thoughts or concerns, basically lack of empathy. They restructure past events to shift blame to you. Insist you did things that you know you didn't do. Scoff when you share your side of the story. Especially this last two, I will talk about a little bit about another situation. Tell others about your state of mind, behavior, or feelings. A person with narcissistic personality disorder who's gaslighting you might say you're crazy, insensitive, or otherwise just flat out wrong when you try to express your needs or wants. Yes, this all fits Meghan Markle to a T, but it also fits Charles. Because where have we heard someone being called crazy? That she's insane? That she's the one having the affairs, not him? That was Charles doing it to Princess Diana. Robert Jobson, in a documentary, admitted that whenever Princess Diana would call them to Buckingham Palace to brief him on the things that she was doing with charity, Charles' staff will pull him aside, each reporter one by one, to tell them that Princess Diana was insane. To this day, we still hear people saying that Princess Diana was insane, mentally unstable. I know of at least a couple YouTubers who make it a living out of saying that Princess Diana was crazy, insane, that she was the one having the affairs, when Charles never stopped having an affair with affairs with many women, not only Camilla. But that's the way they do. They restructure events to suit their narrative. Charles has the advantage that back then there was no internet, so he can actually get away with it. But let's go back to Meghan Markle. This is what she does. This is basically her entire strategy. And she applied it with Catherine because she wanted to take away, she needed to vilify Catherine using the race element in order for her to be. This is a particularly nasty strategy that gaslighters and narcissists do. They basically say, it was just a joke, you have no sense of humor, which translates to, I love disguising my abusive behavior as just jokes. I like calling you names, putting you down, and then claiming you're the one who lacks the sense of humor to appreciate my depraved wit. Making you feel defective allows me to say and do whatever I wish, all with a smile and a derisive laugh. This is what Meghan Markle does. She comes in, basically she's aggressive, trashes you, name calling, bullying, and then it's like, it's just a joke, calling you baby brains and hormonal. It's just a joke. I do that to all my girlfriends. That way she tries to first to attack her and then to make her feel bad for reacting to that attack. That's typical narcissist gaslighting. Okay? And when they get called out, they get angry and they try to be the victims themselves. That's how they do it. And it's actually pretty abusive if you think about it, because it's kind of like a hard to defend. You feel it's kind of hard to defend yourself, but actually it's not. All you have to say is you're wrong and it's not a joke. Because let's keep in mind that at the time when Meghan Markle called Catherine hormonal and baby brains, they were having an argument at Catherine's home. If we go by what the book Spare says. So if you're in the middle of an argument, you're not going to give a compliment, are you?
To be fair, there's a degree of magnanimity here. He's going to be put in the cheap seats. He's not going to be able to...
We don't know that.
Well, okay, I say that metaphorically.
He won't be in the cheap seats.
But he's not going to take part in any procession. He's not going to be on the balcony. He's not going to go to any of the other events.
No, this is not working well, but I think he might be in
But does it make William look churlish if he kind of stands in the way of... Clearly, I'm getting the impression from your book that the king would rather be reconciled with Harry. That's the point here.
Well, that's between Harry and the king. I mean, they're old enough to sort that out amongst themselves. It's clear that William's already happy about it, but William, at the end of the day, is sworn to be a liege man to the king, and if the king wants it, he should just get on with it.
Get on with it and take orders from above.
Just get on with it. Make the king's life as easy as possible. It's going to be a short reign, only because the king will be 75 in November. But
yeah.
But and I hope it's at least another 20 years, and that really could well be. But the fact is, William will get his time. You get his moment in the sun. At this moment in time, he's the heir. Well, act like the heir. Support your father, and if your father wants you to try to build bridges, build bridges.
You know, I don't know what Rob Johnson is going on about, that basically he's saying that William has to put up with the abuse of Harry and Meghan Markle. Oh, that Charles only has 20 years. It only took one interview for Harry and Meghan to cause a lot of trouble for the monarchy. It's only taken a book. I mean, and this is just a few public things. Can you imagine if these two are allowed 20 years of unchecked, unaccountable abuse? They will destroy not only the monarchy, but the entire reputation of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. So I don't know what Rob Johnson is going on about. I'm sorry, I just needed to make this thing. So why would Catherine be angry with Meghan Markle or be upset? Let's explore that a little bit. Why would that be that Catherine would be upset with Meghan Markle? And these are the things that we know in the public, that are public domain. We don't know the things behind the scenes, but these are just some of the things that Meghan Markle has done. How about starting the rumor that Prince William was having an affair with Rose Hanbury? That's actually a pretty serious thing that she did, because she wanted to cause mayhem in Catherine's marriage, and she didn't think about Catherine's children, and while at the same time trying to break up the friendship between those two couples and create an international scandal. Meghan did not care about the consequences. Again, like a true narcissist, she did not care about the consequences of her words and actions at all. And she's gotten away with it. Please be aware that all of this, while I'm telling you all of this, Meghan Markle has gotten away with this. She has, because there has been no accountability, no call out in the press or in the courts at all. I do believe that Meghan Markle started that rumor of Prince William and Rose Hanbury because she was not invited to the state banquet, because she was just a girlfriend back then. And the problem that we have with this is that, yes, she had gotten so many things that other brides hadn't gotten when they were just fiancé, that she was upset that she didn't get this bit, that she didn't get to attend, or she didn't get an invite to the state banquet and be sat next to Harry, because of course that would have been a perfect photo op. Instead, the person who sat next to Harry was Rose Hanbury. So did she do this in order to, because she's angry and she doesn't want people saying, well, Harry was sat next to Rose, because Meghan Markle cannot conceive. She can cheat, lie, defame, but her ego, her arrogance cannot take that same behavior is applied to her, or that she's on the receiving end of that behavior. So is that the reason? That's what I think she did it, because she wanted to punish Rose and in a way Harry and Catherine for not, for sitting Rose next to Harry on that state banquet, which she was not invited. I mean, how about abusing Catherine's staff? Being abusive to the nanny, being abusive to Catherine's staff, or taking the liberty to speaking in somebody, or, chastising or yelling at somebody else's staff, in their own home after she was graciously invited. How about that? Can you imagine you being invited to somebody's home for the holidays and you end up yelling at the staff? I mean, if the staff had done something to me, I would have gone to Catherine. I would have said, Catherine, you know what, this happened. Can you please make sure that, it kind of bothered me? But you don't go yell this to the staff or to the children or to anybody. But that's just me. How about the 10 years plus that Catherine endured of abusive behavior from the press to her and her entire family? Meghan Markle didn't last a month with that. I mean, it was 5 days, literally from October 31st, 2016, until Harry published that statement on November 8th. It's about 6 to 7 days. She couldn't even take the heat for 6 to 7 days. It was an article, I think it was by the U.S. press, where she said, almost straight out of Compton, because let's not forget, nobody knew anything about her, and everybody assumed she lived with her mother, when we know that's not the case. So that headline really upset her. First, because it was the wrong zip code, so yeah. So her saying or belittling or diminishing Catherine's abuse in the press, and she used the magic word. Rude and racist are not the same thing. People were not being rude to Catherine. They were being abusive bullies, just like she was during that Oprah interview. How about calling Catherine baby brains? This is being hormonal and making her doubt. This is gaslighting at its finest, because she was telling Catherine that the way she's trying to make her doubt herself and her choice-making process, and the fact that, oh, you're a baby brain, you're hormonal, you don't know what you're doing. That is basically trying to, ebb away at Catherine's confidence, to make her feel as though she was not making the right choices, at the same time belittling her. And please be aware, as I said earlier, that this happened while they were having an argument at Catherine's home, when they were inviting, according to Harry's book, Despair, that she was, they were in the middle of an argument, and Meghan called it just baby brains. It's hormonal, And then she goes and says, I say that to all my friends. They go from being the aggressor to suddenly being the victim, to try to make them look unreasonable in order to hide her abuse. Could it be that's why Catherine also is upset with Meghan? Because this is just one incident we know of. I'm sure there were plenty more. For example, we have the thing with the lipstick. Harry saying that Catherine made a face. We don't know the context of it. Again, trying to find or blame Catherine or turn Catherine into the enemy of Meghan Markle, as though, Meghan Markle was the victim in this whole thing. That's pretty, and Harry's a gaslighter too, because he doesn't want to hold accountability for anything. It's always somebody else's fault, never his. Now, the one that takes the cake for me would be when Catherine and Jessica Mulrooney basically bullied a 3-year-old and called her fat, or tried to make her feel bad about herself. I mean, what kind of piece of shit does it take to bully a 3-year-old, a beautiful, gorgeous little girl, to make yourself feel better? The only kind of people that trash others in order to feel better. And I know many of you will come and many of the sugars will come at me and say, but you talk about Meghan Markle. I'm talking about her because unfortunately she's still linked to an institution that represents Canada. And this woman has been allowed to run free, abusing, committing perjury, committing fraud. And she's been on account. And on top of that, she's been rewarded. And I keep saying rewarded because she is allowed still to use the royal title, the courtesy title of her husband, as well as now her children have permanent royal titles, because she says that the children are going to decide when they're 18 years old. We know that she's not going to let that happen. I mean, poor kids. I am doing a whole video about the children. So if I had been Catherine, I do admire her, because there is absolutely no way in hell that I would have cried. I would have, well, no, maybe I would have cried, but I would have been really pissed off. That would have been my pissed off crying. And the Latin part of me would have gone up to Meghan Markle and said, you know, you effing B, you don't talk to my child like that. Next time you talk to my child like that, I'm going to punch the crap out of you. Because you can launch attacks at me personally, but never at my child. At any child, you know. So for me, it's amazing that, you know, people don't get that. People don't get that. These are very legitimate reasons that we know of Catherine. And in spite of it all, Catherine came out, beat Meghan at her own game. And how did she do that? Catherine beat Meghan at her own game by being gracious. I am sure that many of you by now have heard, oh, you know, never complain, never explain. I am pretty sure that maybe they haven't complained nor explained in public. But Meghan and Harry have been put firmly in their place. I do not believe for 1 second what Tom Bauer is saying, that Catherine was Catherine ordered that Meghan did not come to the coronation. I don't think that's true at all, because Catherine does not have a mean bone in her body like that. You know, when somebody's mean like Meghan Markle, stories leak. Nobody has leaked a story about Catherine in all these years about being mean and nasty. Instead, it's quite the opposite. So, but I'm pretty sure that Catherine, or at least King Charles, if he has any common sense, would have made sure that Meghan was not around, the jewel of the royal family. Because let's not kid ourselves. The crown jewel of the royal family is Princess Catherine. Catherine, the Princess of Wales. You don't put shit next to a diamond. First, because the shit will look worse off and the diamond will shine more. And I know that I've talked about Meghan Markle looking for gowns and up till 10 days, because I knew, my sources had told me that they were coming. They were just waiting for some stuff and confirmation about their roles. But because Meghan Markle didn't get what she wanted this time. Not because Kate put her foot down, like in an angry, bullying way, but in a very, very real way. Because, Catherine is thinking of the future. She cannot have future pictures of herself with Meghan Markle, because she's aware that Meghan Markle, the Sussex brand, is on life support right now. You have like 40 ambulances in Montecito right now trying to revive that brand. Okay? It's not working. But Catherine doesn't have to yell. She doesn't have to throw tantrums. But she can have mature, grown-up conversations as to why it is not wise for her own image to be or have any pictures taken with Meghan Markle. To me, I thought it was absolutely incredible that they allow Meghan Markle and Harry to walk behind them in the procession of the Queen's funeral, because the Queen actually did not want Harry and Meghan Markle that close to Catherine. We know that because we saw the Jubilee where they were sat, that the Queen made a concerted effort to make sure that Harry and Meghan Markle did not get any shots, that they were still invited as loving members, beloved members of the royal family, but that they were put firmly back in their place. And yet Prince Charles, or King Charles as you want to call him, did exactly the opposite. He allowed Harry to wear the uniform, angering the military. But Catherine with grace, said no. No, I've had enough. I'm done with this. I've had enough. And I don't blame her. I don't think she said it in the way that Tom Bauer said it, but I'm pretty sure that Catherine said, you know, can you please make sure that there are no picture opportunities with me and Meghan Markle? Because at the end of the day, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, hopefully one day will be queen. And as such, her image, she has to start putting distance between her and Meghan Markle. I mean, I'm still shocked that people are upset that Charles hasn't invited Sarah Ferguson to the coronation. I am shocked the Queen liked her. I mean, that's fine, you know. But Sarah should have been behind bars after she was caught on video selling access for cash. That is a crime, caught on video. And again, the gaslighting was heavy there because Eugenie and Beatrice were not mad at Sarah for her actions of selling cash for access. No, they were angry at the newspaper reporters who exposed her mother. How dare they? This is like a thief, you know, when they come and steal from you and then they get angry that you go to the police and report them. And they make it all about you, trying to make you feel guilty that, you know, you went to the police to report a crime. That's how Eugenie and Beatrice reacted to this whole thing. Instead of saying, Mom, what did you do? What are you doing? Stop. No. It was the reporter's fault. Let's forget what he's doing. It was the reporter's fault. There's a lot of light. I'm happy, Nina, because I look better. But yeah, this is what's going on. So Catherine doesn't, you know, she's not stupid. She's aware of her position. She didn't do what Tom Bauer said, but she must have said something along the lines that I can't be sat next to Meghan Markle because I do not want optics to be for it. That is a historical moment. For Catherine, the coronation is not a show. For Catherine, the coronation is a historical show and a state event. So people say, do nothing with narcissistic people. That is not true. You have to do something when it comes, because like any abusive situation, it only escalates when it's not put a stop to. And it ends in tragedy. I mean, what do you guys think? And please tune into my next video. I'm going to talk about, actually, the children. If there are any, of course. Or the alleged children, I should say. And thanks for watching.